Vinterbadning, the Norse word for winter bathing, a ritual that predates the modern cold plunge industry by 1,000 years, and the science now confirms what the Norsemen already knew. The Norsemen who crossed the North Atlantic in open boats, who navigated by stars and survived winters that would kill a modern man in hours, began each day with cold water, not as a test of bravery, as a preparation ritual. The sauna first, the bastu, then the river, the fjord, the sea, heat and cold in sequence, a conversation between the body and its environment that produced something the Norse understood practically, and that neuroscience now measures precisely. What they were producing was not toughness, they were producing neurochemistry, and the numbers, when you see them, are extraordinary. Here are the numbers, peer-reviewed, replicated across multiple studies. A single cold plunge, 2 minutes of immersion in water below 15 degrees Celsius, increases dopamine by 250%, not during the plunge, after it, and the elevation lasts 2 to 3 hours. Norepinephrine, the neurotransmitter that governs alertness, focus, and the capacity to take decisive action, increases by 530% for up to 6 hours. To put the dopamine number in context, cocaine produces a dopamine spike of approximately the same magnitude. The difference is that cold water produces this through a natural mechanism, one that doesn't build tolerance, one that doesn't diminish with repetition, one that, according to studies tracking consistent practitioners, actually improves in its effect over time. The Norsemen did not know any of this. They knew what they felt. They knew that the man who had been in the cold river moved differently for the rest of the morning, thought more clearly, acted more decisively, was more present in whatever he did next. They were right, and now we know why. But the neuroscience is only half of what the Norsemen understood. The second half, the part that modern cold plunge culture has almost entirely missed, is what they did immediately after. And it is what determines whether the practice actually changes you or simply makes you cold. Element 1. The cold does not lie. The first and most important principle of the Norse cold practice: you cannot perform your way through cold water. The Norsemen used cold water as a truth-telling mechanism. A man's relationship with cold water revealed his relationship with discomfort, which revealed his relationship with everything else. You cannot think your way through cold water. You cannot perform calm in cold water. The body either holds or it doesn't. The breath either steadies or it doesn't. Every other discipline in a man's life can be faked for a while. Cold water cannot be faked for a single second. This is its first gift. Before the dopamine, before the norepinephrine, before any measurable neurochemical change, cold water offers you an accurate picture of your interior state. The man who enters cold water and panics knows something about himself. The man who enters and holds knows something different. Neither is better than the other as a starting point. Both are true. Cold water cannot be faked. This is its first gift. Element 2. The breath governs everything. What the Norse knew instinctively. What modern research confirms. The quality of your breath in cold water determines the quality of every effect that follows. The moment you enter cold water, your sympathetic nervous system fires. Heart rate spikes. Breath shortens. The body prepares for fight or flight. What you do with your breath in this moment determines everything. If you breathe short and fast, you stay in the stress response. Your body will spend its energy managing the shock. The neurochemical benefits will be diminished. You will emerge depleted, not elevated. If you slow the breath, deliberately, immediately, against the body's instinct, you activate the parasympathetic response alongside the sympathetic one. This is what the physiologists call controlled hormetic stress, a manageable challenge that the body uses to strengthen itself rather than a threat it merely survives. The Norsemen did not have the terminology. They had the practice. They knew that the man who controlled his breath in cold water controlled himself everywhere else. The breath is not the preparation for the cold water. The breath is the practice. Control the breath in the cold. This is the whole practice in 4 words. Element 3. What you do after is the ritual, the rehook payoff. The part modern cold plunge culture has almost entirely missed. Most cold plunge culture ends at the exit. Get in, survive, get out, done. The Norsemen understood that the period immediately after cold immersion is as important as the immersion itself. After leaving cold water, allow the body to rewarm through internal thermogenesis rather than external heat. Do not immediately enter a hot shower. Sit, breathe, move gently. Allow your body to do the work of rewarming itself. This is not discomfort for its own sake. Studies now show that this period of natural rewarming extends the norepinephrine and dopamine elevation window. The body, working to restore its own temperature, continues to produce the neurochemicals that the cold triggered. A hot shower immediately after closes this window prematurely. The Norse Bastu sequence, heat, then cold, then stillness, built this period of self-regulation in by design. It was not the cold alone. It was the cold followed by the deliberate return to equilibrium. The full sequence, not the shortcut. The cold is the trigger. The stillness after is the practice. Element 4. The Viking gentleman's cold practice. The complete protocol, built from the Norse sequence and the modern science. Practical, daily, non-negotiable. The Viking gentleman's cold practice is not a challenge. It is not a performance. It is a morning preparation ritual with the following non-negotiable elements. First, cold water. Not the coldest you can find. Effective is below 15 degrees Celsius. A cold shower works. An outdoor body of water in winter works better. The Norsemen used what was available. So do you. Second, 2 minutes minimum. This is the threshold at which the full neurochemical cascade is triggered. 1 minute produces benefit. 2 minutes produces the full effect. Beyond 3 minutes, the additional neurochemical benefit is marginal. Third, controlled breath throughout. Slow, deliberate, against the body's instinct. This is where the practice actually lives. Fourth, stillness after. Minimum 5 minutes of natural rewarming before any external heat. Sit, breathe. Allow the body to complete what the cold started. Done in the morning, this protocol produces elevated dopamine and norepinephrine for the first 6 hours of your day. It is, in neurochemical terms, the most efficient preparation for performance that requires no equipment, no subscription, and no exceptional genetics. Only cold water and the decision to enter it. Cold water, 2 minutes, controlled breath, stillness after. The Norsemen called it vinterbadning. You can call it the best 2 minutes of your morning. Vinterbadning. The Norsemen did not need the science to know it worked. They had the evidence of 1,000 mornings. 1,000 men who emerged from cold water and moved through their day differently. The science does not make the practice more valid, it makes it more legible. We now understand the mechanism behind what the Norsemen understood practically. 2 minutes of cold water, controlled breath, stillness after. This is the oldest biohack in Scandinavia, and the most effective one available to you tomorrow morning. The forge never stops, neither do you.